the last thing I want to talk about is just from, I guess, a product development perspective, management perspective. You have a unique perspective because you have experience developing products. Now you're leading a team to help launch the products. So can you walk me through kind of like the process, from, I guess, identifying opportunities to, I guess, organizing the team, the company, to, I guess, executing on that and launching it? Is there a structure that you guys have developed that kind of helps you with being successful launching products?
Yeah, I mean, the basis of it is you got to have the right inputs to know what to design, right? To get the right product to the market. So we use various methods to get those right inputs. We have our direct voice of customer through, our key customer accounts and our field sales. We have a lot of data and are really focused on being a data-driven company and have a lot of insights on what's happening in the market, what's happening with the car park, what directions it's growing, where it's growing, what some of the changes are in the technology. We can leverage, we know what's going on in the OE world as well, from not only our internal knowing what development work we're doing, but we also obviously just keep our tabs on where is it going with, autonomous vehicles and what are some of the unique needs there. So we have all those kinds of insights. And then in addition to that, because we do have our internal testing and all of our engineering capabilities, we're able to do a pretty extensive competitor benchmarking, which we do on a regular basis. The market platform is always changing. There's always new ones coming in. There's changes within a product line, those kinds of things. So we try and stay ahead of that and do some pretty extensive, in the aftermarket, it's not just the performance on the dyno, which we're interested in, but it's also the look, feel, what features does it have on it, all those things we capture to try and stay ahead. What are our competitors doing, and where are there still gaps within the market that we can fill? So those are the inputs that we use. Then we look at it from the product management team and say, okay, where do we think that we can, we need to either, stay ahead of the game and stay at top of each of the segments, which is our goal, or where is there a gap, like in the high performance, where is there a place that we have some technical knowledge already within the company that we're not leveraging in the aftermarket. So we look at that, put it together, and then define, like I said, the product management team defines the, the what, the when, and the why. So why are we doing it? And then what are we going to do? And then we meet and work with the engineering team closely to give them targets on, have some great collaboration there. And we have a very strong engineering team, so they're usually able to come up with about whatever we ask for. And then we have also the internal advantage of being able to make it in-house. So, any kind of prototyping, all the testing, all those things, we can really, we have full control over that. So we'll do the design work, and then once we get it back and we know where did we land, then it comes kind of back to product management, and then we do all that work that I talked about at the beginning, where we work with our marketing team and we work with the supply chain team, we work with purchasing, all those things to go through and come up with our launch plan.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no. So how long does it take, just to kind of give me a sense of, say, when you say, hey, we're going to do this, whatever that is, high performance, whatever, maybe a certain particular brake pad that you're going to come out with, how long does that take? Is it like a 6-month process? Is it an 18-month process? Like, how long does that take? Or is it different every time?
It's different every time. It's highly dependent if it's something we're purchasing, like a rotor program, versus something that we're manufacturing versus friction, as well as is it an enhancement to a current line that we have? Like, are we, doing some upgrades to, for instance, our quick stop line, or are we developing something totally new, like in our high performance line, where we define it, but you might have a couple iterations where you define it, then you look at it and say, you know what, I have some new information. I really would rather go make this feature a little bit better now, right? So we always try to make sure that we get the best product we possibly can. So it's a little more iterative. Yeah. But so it really depends. It can be anywhere, I would say, from a year to a year and a half to 2 years. Okay. It just depends.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. And from a couple more questions too on this. So from a testing perspective, from my background is OE, came from more of the OE side. I understand it a little bit better. When you're working with a customer, it's one customer, the one program. Right. So the kind of development you're developing with, either the tier one tier twos and with the OEM, and you're testing all that. And there's obviously requirements that you have to meet to produce the product and all that sort of thing. But with aftermarket, it's obviously a lot different. So it's a totally different world, especially in North America, where you have a lot of different customers that may be buying the same product. So do you, from a testing perspective, does each customer require like different testing for the same product, or is there like a standard you guys say, here you go, here's the product, it meets all these requirements, and here you go, and they buy it, or it doesn't work that way?
So one thing that makes Drive and Wagner really unique is that, I mean, we set the standard. And because of our OE background and because of our capabilities of testing, we set that standard very high on how many tests we do to develop something, on how many different applications we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to the supplier. So, a lot of the competition, they might test on one, maybe two, we might test on 20. So we set that very high. We run thousands of tests through a development project and validation project because we hold ourselves to that high standard. So that's a big difference between the aftermarket and the OE, is that it's up to the supplier to set that standard.
Okay. No, that's good. And then from, obviously you have enough experience that everybody knows nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. So
Yeah.
when you're going and trying to introduce new products, is there, when something doesn't go as planned, is there a particular part in the process where that's most prevalent, or is it just kind of, you just never know? You go through a process, and maybe each product or each project is different, and maybe when you have a hiccup, could be over here, or is there like a certain aspect where it's like, if something's going to go wrong, it's usually this one little section?
I wouldn't say there's one little section. It is important, though. We follow a lot of the same methodologies as APQP on the OE side. We bring those expertise into our aftermarket team as well. So, it's that discipline of APQP and stage gate and project management to make sure that you're not letting something move on and spending a lot more time and money before you get it right at the stage that it's in. So it's really having that discipline to make sure that we still try to follow that through a new product development and use those same expertise.